The Egyptian pyramids, undoubtedly the most fantastic structures on Earth, which are preserved almost in its original form. For millennia, many scientists were and still are obsessed with unraveling their monumental mysteries. One of them was the greatest inventor Nikola Tesla. And in this video I suggest plunge into the world of amazing, ancient civilization and find out why the pyramids so attracted Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla was a talented inventor who was considered a genius madman, but thanks to his ideas, now we use smartphones, Wi-Fi, AC power supply systems, and many others. Tesla was fascinated not only by invention, but also other studies. However, the craziest passion he tested to the Egyptian pyramids. Tesla's interest in the mysterious structures of Egypt originated when he was 20 years old. Then he decided to understand what powers are hidden in these giants. Powerful pyramids, consisting of more than 2 million stones, each one weighs 3 t, raises many questions. Find the answers that the great inventor wanted. Tesla was confident Egyptian pyramids can generate energy. This was contrary to conventional wisdom about they were built to bury the pharaohs. However, in none of them were found mummies of pharaohs, and bodies were buried in the Valley of Kings. Besides, no drawings and hieroglyphs were found in the pyramids themselves, which were part of the culture of ancient Egyptians, respectively. The question arises, why so many resources were invested in that? That doesn't make sense. Of course, the pyramids made sense to the ancient Egyptians, but what Nikola Tesla had surprised. And he tried to understand the hidden meaning of the pyramids. The inventor carefully studied the information, which I could find, and came to a conclusion. The pyramids contain an incredible amount of energy. He counted, they get energy from electromagnetism. For this, pyramids were built using crystal energy, and the tunnels inside them were used to interfere with electromagnetic fields. Also, he assumed the stones that were used in the construction possessed the properties of accumulating energy from the moon. And based on this, he decided that similar shape can be used to obtain electricity in cities, and set out to recreate a similar source, clean energy. In 1905, Nikola Tesla presented a patent, the art of transmitting electrical energy through the natural environment in the United States. Along with the patent, he proposed the idea of a global network of generators who will access it on the field. To collect energy, Tesla represented planet Earth, and with her two poles, as a massive electric generator with an infinite supply of energy, calling this idea Tesla's electromagnetic pyramid. The scientist was paying attention to their colleagues on the location of the pyramids and their shape. He counted that this also hides the secret of their incredible power. To prove his theory, he decided to build Wardenclyffe Tower in Shoreham, New York State, which should have used the Earth's electric field. Instead of tower locations, Tesla chose, in accordance with the laws of construction of the pyramids related to ratio, elliptical orbit of the equator planet. This design was supposed to become transatlantic, radio telegraph station, and wireless energy transmitter, but was never completed. After death, Tesla got a lot of followers, unraveling the mysteries of the Egyptian pyramids. Scientists have studied the unexplored power of pyramids, and thanks to the discoveries of brilliant physicists, we're able to make sure that his idea wasn't mad fiction. And further in the video we will return to this. There is an opinion that many Tesla discoveries related to his obsessed belief in the magic of numbers. Numbers 3, 6, 9 he considered special, and called the key to unraveling the mysteries of the universe. Before entering the building, the scientist went around it 3 times. He lived on the 33rd floor in a hotel in New York, and stayed in rooms multiples of 3, and consisting of his favorite numbers. For example, 3, 3 to 7. Where 3, 3 is 6 and 2 plus 7 is 9. Slept Tesla 3 hours a day. He used 3 cutlery. Who rubbed 18 wipes to shine. Nikola Tesla understood the fundamental facts, which is the universal language of mathematics. No one invented math. She was as and will be, and everything in our universe obeys its laws. Tesla tried to explain his obsession, proving more and more new facts. Related 3, 6, 9. For example, if you add up the numbers in the diameters of the Earth, and the Sun, and the moons are miles away, then in all 3 cases the result will be the number 9. I suggest you take a look at one interesting fact, demonstrating that the numbers 3, 6, and 9 are really magical, as Tesla envisioned. Mathematician Markov Homelands built a 9-digit diagram and started doubling the numbers, connecting them to the result. He started with 112. 30 to plus 30 to 64 and so on. Then he recorded the results in sequence, leaving single digits unchanged. and in double digits laid out their meaning. Since there were no numbers greater than 9 in his chart, he got numbers 1 and 5, which will be repeated in the future. If you continue to add the numbers as part of the number, amazing then, what is missing in this sequence? Exactly those numbers, which Tesla was passionate about: 3, 6 and 9. But what will happen if you double these magic numbers by the same method? Let's see. 12 is 1 to equals 3, 12 plus 12, 24. 24 is 2, 4 equals 6, and so on. The numbers 3 and 6 will be repeated. And what about double the number 9? 9 plus 9 equals 18, and 18 is 189. 18 plus 18 equals 36, 36 is 3, 6 equals 9, and so on. No matter how much you repeat the algorithm, you will always get the number 9, which Tesla considered the source of divine power. Now look at the diagram again. If we connect all the numbers except 3, 6 and 9, we get the infinity sign. And if you combine 3 of our magic numbers, we get nothing else, like a triangle. And that should make you think, why the ancient Egyptians, they built their mysterious structures exactly this form. Besides the most majestic pyramids, 3, and next to them there are 3 more smaller ones, which in total give 6. It turns out that the magic of these numbers believed not only brilliant scientists including Tesla, but also people who lived about 5,000 years ago. And that's not all. Pyramids of Giza. The embodiment is incredible. Accurate calculations and numerical combinations. Great Pyramid of Cheops consists of 1 million stone blocks, and its total weight exceeds 6 million tons. Its orientation to the cardinal points is as perfect as possible, and is 5 arc minutes and 30 seconds. Previously thought that pyramid has 4 faces, but there are actually 8 of them, except that side faces are slightly concave, and it's clearly visible from the height, and at a certain angle of light direction. Seems the ancient Egyptians knew a lot about our planet, and that proves some more amazing patterns. For example, if you divide the perimeter of the pyramid by double the height, we will get the result. Approximate to the number pi. Multiply the base perimeter of the Great Pyramid, your 3020 for feet, add for 3 to 100. We get the value of the equatorial circumference of the Earth. If you multiply it to 481 feet high by 43,200, get the value of the polar radius of the Earth. The errors will be minimal. The number for 3200 is the value of the axial precession of the Earth, which also attracts many scientists. The fact is that it is a multiple of 72 years, required for 1 degree of oscillation. Numbers 72 and 432 can be found in a number of ancient mythologies and sacred texts, including 72 is the number of languages, which was spoken during the construction of the Tower of Babel. 72 number of temples Van are in hell. 72 is the number degrees of longitude between Angkor and the Great Pyramid. 432,000 syllables of Hindu regression. 430 terahertz harmonic purity, which is considered the perfect resonance in music. The ancient Egyptians believed in the magic of numbers, which was known a millennium before the New Era. Now no wonder. Why was Tesla so obsessed with numbers? No less interesting than that thanks to very accurate calculations, pyramid was built like this. That early morning on equinox days, the rising sun shines for a moment, the western half of the southern face, leaving her whole eastern part in the shadows, after which the whole south side is lit. After about 12 hours the light play is repeated again, but in reverse order. Equinox on Earth happens twice a year, March 21st and September 23rd. On days like this the sun's rays touch both poles and plummet to the equator, so both hemispheres are lit the same. And the length of the day is equal to the length of the night. Most modern people relate to the equinox as an everyday occurrence. It helped the ancient Egyptians be so accurate in calculations. During the construction of pyramids, American engineer Glenn Dash believes that Egyptian builders used no man's ancient simple tools in the form of vertical pillars, casting a shadow in the ground. Throughout the day they marked dots where the shadow of the pole ended, then connecting them. They were getting semi-accruti, straight passing through her, pointed west and east, and it is on the days of the autumn equinox such calculations are as accurate as possible. To prove this theory, Dash conducted an experiment on the day of the autumn equinox in 2016. Amazing. But the American managed to get a straight line of deflection, which is from the conditional straight, between west and east, was only 7 corner minutes. Can believe, but exactly the same slight deviation observed in the position of the Egyptian pyramids. And that means ancient builders not only were great at math, but also well understood the principles of natural phenomena. But back to the question, which Tesla was interested in. Are pyramids really sources of energy? And if it is, where to find evidence? Try to figure it out. The outer layer of the pyramids in Giza was covered in white limestone tuff, with excellent insulation properties. Inner blocks were made from another form of limestone containing a certain amount, metals and crystals. Granite shafts were discovered inside the pyramid, with weak radioactivity. According to scientists, this material contributed to the ionization of air inside the balloons, and dolomite was found in the very center of the buildings, containing large amounts of magnesium, which is a great conductor. Electric current. All these facts led scientists to the conclusion that the outer layer of the pyramid served as an insulator, and inside was a high conductivity core. And that's unforeseen. Think about the true purpose of the pyramids. Perhaps the Egyptians built them to get huge power generators. To find out the answer to this question, are pyramids really capable of radiating energy? In 2018, Russian physicists from St. Petersburg National Research University, Information Technology, Mechanics and Optics, decided to direct to the Pyramid of Cheops electromagnetic radiation. The external experiment was not conducted on the building and on its mathematical model, which was designed taking into account all known features of the original. The result of the study, on top of scientists in shock, the Great Pyramid of Cheops not only concentrates the electromagnetic field, but also focuses it. Especially bright phenomenon manifests yourself on long waves from 200 to 400 meters, with dimensions to the pyramid itself, with which they enter into a certain resonance. Hard to believe that the ancient Egyptians could know about the focusing properties of the pyramid. Discovery of modern physicists could only be a coincidence. But then why its creators placed burial chambers in those places where the highest concentrations were recorded? Electromagnetic energy. To this question, unfortunately no answers yet. Pyramid research proves again they could be used as a source. Clean energy. This ancient technology tried to realize Nikola Tesla in his Tower of Wardenclyffe. Tesla Tower, according to researchers, was built on aquifers that is identical to technology used in the construction of the Great Pyramid. Great Pyramid in Giza and fantastic Tesla Tower were power stations, feeding electrical components across vast distances, carrying electrons directly through the air to consumers. The pyramids of Giza rise above the limestone layers. Water reservoirs, and the space between them is filled with large amount of water. These layers are able to transfer energy upwards. Also, how do they carry groundwater to the surface? We can conclude from this that a large volume of water flow passing inside the pyramids was able to produce physioelectricity. Physioelectricity is energy derived from natural physical movements and using certain devices converted to electricity, and the ancient Egyptians used energy for this. From the flow of the river Nile, chambers built within the walls of the Great Pyramid of Giza considered granite conductors, and the whole design supported the idea of physioelectricity. Thus, material and construction of the pyramid itself transmits electromagnetic field at the bottom of the pyramid towards the upper layers of the building. Scientists believe that in the distant past, excellent electrical conductivity device, it was located at the top of the pyramid. Where's the empty space now? Probably from here, could broadcast energy into space without using wires. Exactly this technology was meant to be implemented in Tesla Tower, for the construction of which John Morgan was allocated $150,000 tower. Wardenclyffe should have been first. The world's model of wireless communication. Construction of the facility was almost completed, but it turned out that the expenses exceeded the budget, and Tesla needed investor help. John Morgan refused further funding, scared about the shaft of the market after implementation. Innovative power transmission technology with no wires instead. Rich man started helping Edison projects and Marconi. And what's worst, he urged other investors not to sponsor Tesla projects. ESO Tower. Wardenclyffe turned out to be an extra completed project. In 1917 it was destroyed. The American authorities were worried that she can serve as a beacon for German ships. It's amazing that tearing down the Tesla Tower wasn't that easy. Probably during construction, he was guided by the technology of the ancient Egyptians. It is known that thanks to a special solution, the pyramid blocks are so tight together that they were almost impossible to shine rays. Tesla may have solved the secret of this solution. because he managed to destroy his tower, only with the help of an explosion. Scientists do not deny the fact that pyramids ceased to function as a power plant. Also after the explosion, only after which, astounding, interesting research, the world was introduced by American engineer Christopher Dane. He believes that for the functioning of the pyramid, hydrogen was needed, which was found in the queen cell. Chemical reactions were taking place inside the mine with two solutions, zinc hydrate chloride and hydrochloric acid. Besides, a large amount of salt was found in this chamber, which was formed after, as hydrogen-containing gas reacted with calcium, contained in the limestone walls of the pyramid. And this proves once again the use of pyramids as power plants. Hydrogen, when mixed with air, forms an explosive mixture. Exactly why the pyramid blocks were so firmly established. But no one is immune from mistakes, and maybe something happened inside the pyramids, which led to an internal explosion. This is exactly what can be explained. Burn marks found on the ceiling, descending corridor, and the deformation of the wall of the king's chamber. In the Some Great scientists Pyramid suggest that pyramid was damaged by a strong earthquake. But in the records of ancient Egyptians, such event not mentioned. But the items, resembling lamps, were found on many wall images, which also gives reason to think. But before we talk about the functions of the pyramid, should generally figure it out, who built them and when. In addition to conventional wisdom, there is a theory suggested by Graham Hancock. In his opinion, about 12,000 years ago, an unknown civilization lived on Earth, involved in the construction of the pyramids. This theory suggests that the pyramids were built much earlier. Then for 31,000 years ago, Robert Buvel introduced to the world his correlation theory of Orion, supporting idea of Graham Hancock. Orion is one of the brightest constellations visible to the naked eye. The Orion belt can be seen in almost every corner of the world. It consists of 3 bright stars, 3 big ones. The pyramids of Giza in Egypt were not built by accident. They are located at the legendary parallel of 33 degrees north latitude. If you look at the image of 3 stars and 3 pyramids, it becomes clear that the pyramids are connected by their location with Leon belt orientation. Robert Buvel also drew attention to the statues of the Sphinx, which should have been facing to the Lion constellation, the point the Sphinx looks at, moving along the horizon, exactly by 12 zodiacal constellations, only in the opposite direction. Nowadays his gaze has left constellation of fishes and moved towards Aquarius. Using this data, he decided to project using a computer, Lion constellation location for 1,000 years ago, but coincidence failed when he offered to unwind millennia ago, and finally stopped at around 1031,000 years ago. Exactly at this time the Sphinx look was directed to the vernal equinox point, Lion constellation, and this can only mean that the statue was built 10,500 years ago. Another one amazing statement, based on the analysis of stones from the statue of the Sphinx made by Dr. Robert Show. He noticed that there are marks on the stones and rosy and weathering. What is characteristic for prolonged exposure to water and sun? There is a lot of sun in the desert, but where was come from in the water, if for 5,000 years in this area rain drought? Shock suggested that traces and rosy could only occur as a result. Prolonged exposure, powerful water flows, marked the end of the Ice Age. Besides, only the bottom of the statue was exposed to water. The top one had marks, indicating the effects of severe sandstorms. And the head of the Sphinx, it was made thousands of years later. This assumption may indicate that statue age, namely its lower part, can exceed 10,000 years, and statue, surviving to this day, is restored. Many people died during the melting of glaciers, and many buildings could not withstand this element. Perhaps this is what answers the question of, why did the pyramids stop functioning? More and more research by physicists, archaeologists, and geologists point out that Nikola Tesla was right in his assumptions. The ancient pyramids really contain evidence of electromagnetic energy. Brilliant people, living millennia ago, used technology, which are for us, modern people, remain riddles. Nikola Tesla wanted to make electricity free and accessible to all. You just imagine that everything in our lives could have been very different if the famous banker John Morgan was not afraid lose your money and went on to sponsor Tesla's projects. Sadly, clean energy died along with genius inventor, and our world chose a different way to transmit electricity, which proved to be dangerous to the ecology and life on Earth. And on this I have everything.